What's up, man? It's Lives Unplugged. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the Black Indigenous of Brazil. I know a lot of people know this information, and I know a lot of people don't know this information, so I'm really going to show you guys the lifestyle. But you got to keep in mind, they're going to be promoting their Pan-Africanism heavy in this video. They're going to be keep promoting their African origin and all that BS. But yeah, let's take a look at today's video. And oh yeah, in the video, they're going to slip up in the myth about the Black Indians. They're gonna slip up, but then they're not gonna come out and straight up say it. But you're gonna catch it when I show it. Watch this.
Educational Television Network.
Carnival in Brazil. 3 days and 4 nights of national frenzy. Its origins, pagan and Christian. The music and dance,
a lot of white people.
African. In the fusion of white Europe with black Africa,
so-called
Carnival
Spanish
symbolizes
people,
Brazil's
Latinos,
reputation as a racial paradise.
I don't see them in this video. Look like a lot of white people in Cubans. That's what I'm saying. Look, they're having a good time though. Those they look like, you can tell they got the Indian culture. See what I'm saying? Look, all that costume, but they won't claim the African.
Davis. The experience of the Negro in Brazil and the rest of Latin America has been different than ours. So different that where we are caught up in a struggle, often accompanied by racial strife, Brazil has been described as a racial paradise. What has been the experience of the 30 million Negroes in Brazil?
There they go with their numbers.
Has Brazil solved the crises that plague our country? And can we learn something from Brazilians that can provide us with answers to our American dilemma? In our History of the Negro People series, we came to Brazil to explore these questions. Jorge Amado, perhaps the leading Brazilian novelist, told us,
Eu creio que o
and they always gotta go
Brasil
to a white person.
é país onde
Then go to the
está
Aboriginal
se
people
dando
and they're asking.
processo talvez único no
They always
mundo
gotta ask a
de
foreigner.
caldeamento.
I believe that Brazil is a country where a process, which is perhaps unique in the world, is taking place. It is a melting pot of peoples and races that is someday going to reach a point where you won't be able to talk anymore about pure white or pure black. Our experience differs fundamentally not only from North America, but from all other countries. It is unique because it is an experience of the mixing of races, the mixing of blood. Here next to me is Marilda Alves, a movie actress, a Brazilian mulatto beauty, who herself demonstrates the very positive results of the blending of the
Hey,
races.
that don't look like a mulatto to me.
And the reasons
A
for
mulatto
the
is a
Brazilian
mixture of black and
experience
white. She look
lie in
clearly
our
white to
past,
me.
our
I'm just
history.
saying.
Brazil in 1500 was a wild and primitive land of savage animals. And the cannibalistic Indian, oldest inhabitant of the New World.
Who are they showing? So-called black people, right? You can see these are black people. These ain't no Mongolians, no Native Americans. These are so-called black people. And watch how they watch after he say that they're gonna try to put it back and say these people are African. Watch this. Watch.
World, predating both Portuguese and Negro by more.
Predating Portuguese and Negroes. Well, so who's the other people then? The Indians. Those are the same people you call black, just like the Negroes are. So what's really going on here? See what I'm saying? See how they slipping up? For real, man.
More than 1,000 years.
So the black indigenous Indians predated the so-called Africans or whoever you labeling Negroes. The Indians predate them, and they show you by the image. That's in a book. That's a real image of a book. A so-called black indigenous people. For real.
In 1500, a Portuguese ship blown off its course arrived in Brazil. Colonists soon followed. Many were adventurers and criminals.
Now they gonna show you the Mongolians. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? The dogs look like Mongolians. They wasn't there on that land. Especially in Brazil, they ain't even there now. Think about this. When all those pictures of the so-called Native Americans, they always want to show you like the forest depictions. I'm talking about 1800 depictions. Those people on the land don't look nothing like this. I ain't never seen a person from the first pictures of so-called Native Americans. I ain't never seen nobody walking around me look like that. And they for damn sure not on the reservation. All of them are all damn near white. Those are Mongolians and Asians. See, that's why I'm gonna have to go in a deeper video, because it's multiple races piled under that Native American status. That's what it is. But those first depictions, 1800 depictions of so-called Native Americans, I ain't never seen a person in my lifetime ever look like that. Where they at? See what I'm saying? Man, I'm telling you, man.
To most, this barbaric country was a place of exile. The Portuguese came with no experience in farming and a distaste for work. A Renaissance humanist wrote, "If there are any people more given to laziness than the Portuguese, I do not know where it exists."
There's all these foreigners that's lazy, trying to get the man to do all the work.
Slavery seemed a convenient answer.
There they go with these fake Mongolians.
The Portuguese attacked and massacred the Indian.
There you go.
And made him the first slave in the New World.
These fake ass
Indians.
depictions. That's what I'm saying, man. Y'all gotta go back. You take a look at 1600, 1700, 1800 depictions of people in the land that had copper skin tone. Does that look like a copper skin tone to you? None of these the primary source books matching their narrative that they try to tell you. So that tells you that they trying to hide certain stuff. Ain't none of the primary source records from the colonists said they ever seen people look like that. You always gonna find they're gonna say the copper color skin tone. So it's time out for the games. Those people was not here in no America. You can't find these people on no documentation to 1860. Most of these white people are more indigenous than these so-called Native Americans. For real, man.
Failed to meet the rigid qualifications for slaves in the 16th century. They died by the thousands. A Spanish friar, Bartolomé de las Casas, gave up his land and slaves and returned to Spain, where he begged the Spanish regent for an end to the enslavement and slaughter of the Indians throughout Latin America. To save the Indians, Las Casas suggested an alternative candidate, the hardier African Negro.
Now see what I'm saying? See, this is how they do the Dice Nation right here. Because it shows you, they shows you who the Indians look like. They look like so-called Negroes. But then they try to so-called say they bringing Africans in. This is how they do it. Which they did bring some Africans in. I'm not saying they didn't bring none in. They ain't bringing no 600,000 in. I say they probably bought, maybe, you could bring about 3,000 or 4,000. Especially from that time period. They have all these big old ships and all that. But this is how they try to twist a certain narrative, because they did bring some African slaves in. Which I know that. Not a lot. But they over-exaggerating the numbers. And they compiling the black indigenous Indians, and they're trying to say that these people are Africans. They compile them in the same group. This is how it's done. This is how they do it.
In Africa itself, slavery, both black and white, was not new. Arab traders and African priests had been buyers and sellers of slaves for thousands of years. Now the Portuguese took over. For these Africans, the Muslims, the Bantus,
And those guys show these little
and the
fake pictures,
Sudanese,
man. This would be pissing me off.
the trip over was the beginning of a tragic future.
If the pictures ain't matching the
From 30
documents,
to
it's a
40
problem.
days, they crossed the South Atlantic.
Anybody can make some pictures like this and say, "Oh, this
These
is what they
sailing
look
clippers
like."
were known
This
as
is their
coffins.
main tool they use.
The slaves were kept in the hold from 5 in the afternoon until 8 in the morning in darkness.
How did he know that?
The loss of human
That's how I like
cargo
Occidentals. How do you know that?
ran
Was
as
you
high
there?
as 70%. When they arrived in Brazil, they were cataloged and sold. First, they were sent to the sugar plantation, for sugar was the unchallenged king of Brazil for many years. Then, gold was discovered, and the Negro worked in the gold mines of the New World. There was also a great demand for skilled artisans. Life was harsh. Almost any offense committed would result in whippings with a twisted raw leather hide. More serious crimes warranted more sophisticated punishment.
This like a so-called Negro beating another Negro. So this right here, to me, this depicting the kindness attacking the indigenous black Indian or African. But this was like, to me, he like the kindness, because we know by primary source documentation that a lot of these colonists were melanated people with the so-called white people. That's by primary records. Because when I do another video, when I show you all these predominant so-called black people that that white man has whitewashed, you're gonna see it. I gotta do a separate video I got coming up. All these so-called famous people were all whitewashed. A lot of these colonists were melanated people. That's why I say you can't keep blaming the white man. The white man, the only thing he did was whitewash the information and inserted his own stuff in there to make his group of people hired to say. They inserted themselves into the information in the history and taught you that way you will think they're superior. This is how they did it. But a lot of the Spanish, the French, a lot of people from overseas, Britain and England and all that, was a lot of melanated people. This is the biggest secret in the world. It was melanated people everywhere around the world. And these same people are here today in America under that status of black. Black is not a race. We're all under that status of black. We're all compiled together. We all, these melanated people from different parts of the world. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is how it happened. But I got a video coming up on that where I'm gonna be breaking it down. I'm gonna show you the kindness records of them saying their people, most of their people that came over there from England to the U.S. were melanated people. I'm gonna show y'all that.
Such as fastening the slave for several days by his ankles or his arms.
If you do that for several days, you can't be able to walk.
In 1607, a group of Negroes revolted, the first of many uprisings.
And how you bring in African
But the
slaves
Negro was more
to a land that you have
assimilated
not
in
yet
colonial
completely
Brazil
that makes sense.
than in North America. He was welcomed into the Catholic Church, where he was
So the
baptized
so-called Native Americans, they
and
never
married.
came. You were with them
And the
in
white
us. Come
colonist
on, man.
and Negro slave
Y'all
lived
be
together
extinct.
intimately. Black nannies brought up the children. The Portuguese adapted African cooking. And the men who did not bring wives with them took on the Negro women as concubines, sometimes even married them. On May 8th, 1888, the Chamber of Deputies drew up an abolition bill as most Brazilians began to realize that slavery was doomed. Crowds gathered below as the debate raged inside. On May 13th, the Princess Regent banished slavery from Brazil as thousands of Brazilians roared their approval.
What year they said?
Emancipation took place. On May 13th, the Princess Regent banished slavery from Brazil as thousands of realized that slavery was doomed. Crowds gathered. On May 8th, 1888, the Chamber of Deputies drew up an abolition bill.
I got something. 1888. We got a date. They're saying that slavery was stopping. 1888. Okay. I want to see if they have more numbers after that.
As most Brazilians began to realize that slavery was doomed, crowds gathered below as the debate raged inside. On May 13th, the Princess Regent banished slavery from Brazil as thousands of Brazilians roared their approval.
You know they gotta do the indoctrination.
Emancipation took 23 years longer, but one war less than in North America. Professor Marvin Harris,
see, they
is
always
the
gotta
chairman of
ask
the
a white
Department of
person.
Anthropology at Columbia University and
They
an
ain't
expert
they
on race
talk to
relations
none of
in
these people
Brazil.
After 1888, there was no history in Brazil of the type of Jim Crow, sharp racial struggle, race riots, lynchings, public discrimination, public transportation, and in schools. Just nothing comparable to it. The whole trajectory of experience in Brazil between the races has been a much milder sort of experience.
Today, the majority of Brazilians, it is said, are the descendants of masters or slaves. The Casa Grande, or big house, still survives. Inside the house, the descendants of a Portuguese master still gather for Sunday dinner. The family silver and crystal are almost the last vestiges of a more elegant past. Although the days of master and slave are gone, the children still enjoy some aspects of the old Casa Grande life. They ride their horses as they have done for generations through the fields of sugarcane, where Negroes still work as their slave ancestors did, but now for a salary of under $10 a week. These Negroes, like the white family in the Casa Grande, hold on to their old traditions, African traditions. A few miles away is the city of Salvador, the first capital of Brazil, in the province of Bahia. Salvador was the biggest port of entry of slaves from Africa in the Western Hemisphere. Few people in this city can be sure they're not just a little black. More than 50% of the population is of mixed ancestry. Many whites in Salvador would be classified as mulatto in the United States. Brazilians call Bahia a velha mulata, the old mulatto woman. Dr. Gilberto Freire, former member of the National Assembly and former ambassador to the United Nations, is Brazil's greatest historian.
The so-called black people. Talk to them.
The influence of the Negro in Brazilian life is immense, both historical and at present, when the presence of the Negro is everywhere in Brazilian culture, in what is most characteristic in Brazilian culture. You find that Brazilians now are even proud of the fact that they have a Brazilian cookery that's considered by some to be the rival cookery of the French one and of the Chinese one. They are proud of the fact that this very characteristic Brazilian cookery has many traits of African influence. In fact, if it were not for this great African influence, there would not be a Brazilian cookery.
All these pyramids are here in America. So what are you talking about? What you said? This really pissed me off right here.
Capoeira, another African tradition. once a way of fighting between slaves with razors strapped to their
come
ankles.
on, man. They're just dancing. But they always trying to tie something back to Africa, just like the African slaves was doing. Stop the madness, man. These people playing games. I can't stand Ossie Davis, man. He's a puppet too, man. Come on.
Has slowly changed until now.
You
It
see
is
how
a
they
ritual
emphasize
dance
they keep
accompanied
trying
by
to say
African instruments.
African.
The dancers keep in time to the rhythm as they attack each other with hands,
They're just
feet,
dancing.
and head, just stopping short of landing a blow. But the greatest African influence is its people. This woman is known simply as Olga. She lives in the slums of Salvador. Many of the people who live in these slums are of mixed blood, and some would even pass for white.
And they want to say mixed blood. Where's the documentation at? Show me the documentations. Show me it. It's just them promoting a certain narrative. That's them speaking. See what I'm saying? It's them putting that certain narrative. Now, they even interview that person, and it's not like that person saying, "Oh yeah, we African. My ancestors was African." It's them promoting that certain narrative. Why are you not asking them that? Because you ask them that, they gonna say, "We ain't no Africans. We been here."
Olga lives in this house. She has 8 children. The oldest boy works for the federal government. Laurel,
They're not like no
who is
Africans,
21,
man.
is an electrician and mechanic. The other children pick up work wherever they can. But Olga is not simply a housewife. She is the high priestess of the Candomblé. Candomblé, practiced in Bahia, was originally an African fetish cult, brought by
There they go,
slaves
the African
and
cult.
altered by time.
That voodoo or hoodoo, that was worldwide. That had nothing to do with no Africa. That was being practiced in America, China. It was everywhere. That was being practiced everywhere. But they gotta say African, so they can promote their certain narrative. They gotta do it.
But still, essentially, African.
E tem também para dizer a vocês, o passado da minha família.
People come to me because of sickness, because of setbacks, because of spiritual persecutions. They come for many reasons and they kneel on the ground and try to feel that sense of personal exaltation.
As priestess, Olga has profound responsibilities as moral and spiritual leader. At a consultation, this woman asks Olga to help her sick daughter. Olga must divine the spirit's orders, and in the reading of her shells, she finds the prescription for this woman's troubles. Olga and her followers, called Daughters of the Saints, are preparing for the traditional dance
I was trying to tie
of the
something to a cult.
Candomblé.
This is spiritual
Roosters
practice.
and
They don't know nothing
chickens,
about it. They're trying to say it's
a
culture.
sacrifice to the spirits, their blood rubbed against a holy tree. Herbs are gathered, and African songs are sung in the original African tongue, Yoruba.
Now, see, they want to claim they're African. They speak
Special
because they can
foods
speak
are
language.
prepared
That don't
to
mean
offer the
anything.
spirits.
Hold on, let me pause this right quick. They're trying to claim these people be African because they speak the language. So, and today we speak, in America, we speak English. So are we English, man? So if you speak Spanish, that means you Spanish? Come on, man. Our English spoke multiple languages. trade
It
languages.
is the night of the Candomblé, the climax of religious activity for Olga and her followers. Many of the participants and spectators are white. They find in Candomblé a vitality lacking in their own church.
The business and the so-called young people culture. Sorry, them doing that type of stuff. Okay, that's what we're doing. Sorry, them stay nuts. But they know we connected.
Olga's Candomblé is matriarchal. Men participate only as spectators and musicians. Believers
I want y'all to think about
are
this.
assigned a special
What does this
saint,
right here
similar
remind
to
you of?
those worshipped in many parts of Africa.
What are you doing? Watch this.
In the music and dance, they hope that he will enter their bodies. They yearn to be possessed.
What does this right here remind you of? What y'all think? I'm gonna break it down there. Did y'all get it?
At the time of possession, it is said the saint descends into the head, and through the body, he dances and talks. Then the daughter of the saint dances in a trance. Possession is complete.
What does this right here remind you of? Listen to the music. I'm trying to give you a hint. Doesn't that remind you of church? How you got the drums, they playing the music, and with the church they say we trying to get the Holy Spirit, right? What are they doing? They playing the drums, trying to get a spirit to enter their body. It's the same damn thing. See what I said? See, Christians don't want to hear that. Christians don't want to see this. A Christian would see that and say, that's a demonic possession. The devil. That's what the Christians would say. It's the same damn thing. I always used to think about that when I was in church. When I see people shout, I always was sense, like, I don't know, every time I went into church, I would sense a negative energy. I never wanted to be inside that place. Now, I always used to sit and think about that. When I see people used to shout, it always seemed like a possession to me. And it's the same, and in the church we call it the Holy Spirit, which still is a possession. Just like what they're doing, they're playing the drums, trying to get a spirit that comes up in them. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. I'm telling you, I'm breaking it down today, man.
But if Olga is an African priestess, she is also a Catholic. She sees no conflict between the Catholic Church and the worship of her African ancestors. The saints of Candomblé are fused with the saints of Catholicism.
She's doing multiple religions.
If African tradition is still strong in Brazil,
I wouldn't say
it is also changing.
It was a spirituality.
It is
thing.
absorbing
Ceremony.
and being absorbed with the religion and tradition of Catholic Brazil. Many of the people who attend its vivid ceremony come as spectators rather than converts, and the younger generation of Negroes is little interested in its values. They are less concerned with their past as Africans and more with their future as Brazilians.
See how they slipping up? See how they slipping up? Hold on a second, I think my mic went out. Yeah, but see how they slipping up? This is sad that those people can care less about so-called African culture. They can care less about that, because they know these people know their culture already. They know they're Brazilians. They're the first people. It's them pushing that narrative. I'm showing you how they doing it.
And as Negroes, Olga's son Laurel prefers
and more with their future as Brazilians and as Negroes.
That's
Our
Brazilian
son
and
Laura
Negroes. Come on, man.
prefers soccer to the African
Which one is it?
capoeira.
That's Brazilians and Negroes. I can't stand
But though he works and plays with whites, he is fearful about the future.
I have been handicapped by my color in many things, in jobs, at parties, in many little ways that are hard to relate. I would prefer that my wife would be lighter than I, because I would like to have lighter children. If I marry lighter and have children who look more white, they will have more opportunity to get ahead in life.
This is what they taught
I
our
want
people.
the best for my children.
That's what they did.
I don't want them to suffer the disappointments I did
So they can promote their
because of
agenda
my color.
and mix us.
Professor Tales de Azevedo is an anthropologist at the University of Bahia. We ask him about racial discrimination in Brazil.
It's very easily seen that the Negroes have been retained in a very low position in our society, which is due to discrimination all through our history by the means of these devices which I have mentioned formerly.
We was the top dog.
The Negroes
They know
are
our
not
power.
accepted
That's why they gotta keep us
in
suppressed.
some schools, in
We the
some
most suppressed
jobs.
people.
We have practically
Why?
no
They
Negroes
know our power.
in the higher ranks of the army, in the clergy. At least we have no bishop who is a Negro. We have priests, but no bishops. And in the private schools, sometimes they are not accepted. At least they are not accepted in the proportion that they exist in the population. I think these are the means through which we discriminate against them. They may rise individually, but not as a group.
A discriminação racial, a meu ver,
The prejudice that exists in Brazil, as I see it, is a discrimination of color. So much so that people who are descended from Negroes, but have lighter skin and finer features, pass for white. Those with darker skin have more difficulty than those with lighter skin. The Brazilian, in general, doesn't have racial prejudice. He has color prejudice.
Professor Harris, do Brazilian Negroes have the same emotional and psychological problems as American Negroes?
My experience is that Brazilians are not troubled by the question of who they are racially to the extent that many Americans are. The reason there, the explanation of that, I believe, is because Brazilians have a chance of changing their racial identity during their lifetimes.
And how is this done?
Well, one way to do it is to improve one's job, get a better job, get a better education, make some money. As a matter of fact, there's a saying which goes, money whitens.
Money whitens in Brazil means that if a Negro is wealthy enough and well-educated, he can share the advantages of Brazil's upper-class whites. He is not even called a Negro.
The system, man.
There are no
system.
whites-only signs anywhere. But Negroes are tacitly excluded from many places. Social segregation is the unwritten rule. Yet, if money whitens, few Negroes have much money. The favelas, or slums, do not discriminate. The houses are built out of wood, cardboard, and scrap metal.
I was trying to say them.
Of the
poor.
thousands who live in these
How do you do that?
favelas, a large number are Negro. The hillsides on which the slums have sprung up have no electricity, no sewers, or paved roads.
See, by that, they trying to say they're poor. This is how the land originally was anyway. So what are they talking about? Because they ain't got the stuff that that society labels as rich, they poor. Come on, man. I'm telling you, man, it's all indoctrination. This is how these people been living, and they gonna continue to live like that. They ain't poor. They living off the land. They can care less. Only they got a roof laying in their head. They got water. This is how it was anyway. Before colonization. Come on.
Whoever enters the favela is carried in by hand
and by foot. Yet, the favela is not a ghetto. People live here not just because they are colored, but because they are poor. It is possible for the Negro to educate himself and move out, and he can also marry out.
People don't know.
My daughter is married to a white man, and she has no problem at all. She's very light-skinned, you know. And of course, she has 3 children now, and they're almost white.
Yes, I have Negro blood through my father. My great-grandfather was a mulatto. I looks like a white man. Nobody ever said to me that I'm a mulatto or I'm not a white man. And if I were a mulatto, perhaps I should not care about that. Why care?
As you know, passing in the United States is a shame, is a technique unaccepted and rejected by both parties. Both the white and the Negroes, they reject the one who tries to pass. While in Brazil, passing is a common thing.
It's rare now to find a Negro of the pure dark type in Brazil. It's possible to find it, but it's very difficult because...
And those people are still there today. But what he's saying, that the original inhabitants, because you can go look on the pyramids in Bonaparte, you can see original so-called nigger people, what it look like, the complete dark skin. It's still the people still there, but what they are trying to say, it's been so much mixing with these other races and all that the so-called pure one, it's really hard to find, which is not. Those people are still there. But that's what he's trying to claim.
Race mixture has been, miscegenation has been in Brazil, as you know, a process very much generalized. And the result of it is that the different intermediate types of race mixture are numerous in Brazil, and the survivals of pure Negro types very scarce, very rare.
We too in the United States have had miscegenation. One has but to take an objective view of the Negro in prominent positions in the leadership of the integration movement here in the United States to realize that many of these people are not by Brazilian standards Negro at all. We have a system, however, of reckoning racial identity which does not tolerate any intermediate status. Hence, we are faced here with a choice of being either Negro or white. This is a biologically inappropriate and foolish type of categorization, at least from the point of view of genetics and anthropology. I think it's quite reasonable to predict that if things go on as they have been going on in Brazil for another century or so, we can expect that both whites and Negroes will disappear, and my own feeling on this subject is why not? Because the resulting mixture will take its place among bona fide racial groups of the world. All the racial groups of the world that we know of are mixed groups. There are no pure races.
The Negro from abroad cannot comprehend us. He finds a Negro race which is intermixing with the white, and a new race is emerging. At first, he thinks this is a subtle form of prejudice, because the Negro is disappearing. But then, it would also be a subtle form of prejudice against the white, because the white man, as such, is disappearing also. But even if the Negro vanishes eventually as a pure race in Brazil, his influence and his mark on us are deep. We are convinced we are taking the right path, and that racial democracy may really be Brazil's great contribution to a universal humanistic culture.
eventually I'm gonna go to Brazil and start interviewing these black indigenous people. And I'm gonna ask them, "Are you guys African?" And I bet you 9 times out of 10, these people are gonna say we ain't no Africans. So let's stop all the BS. Eventually, I'm thinking another year or two, I'm about to start traveling, man. I'm about to be showing you. I'm gonna go all these different places and show you the original inhabitants. I'm gonna let them say their own story instead of so-called colonists trying to tell them who they are. But yeah, that was a little quick video for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I got like six more videos that's gonna be uploaded by today, and I'm gonna be going really deep and talking about the Christian religion. I'm gonna be breaking that whole Bible down. It's gonna be like a 6 or 7 part video. I'm gonna be breaking it down. So thank you guys for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.
Gray area. Yo, it's hard to talk about something that I don't believe in. LOVE, can you tell me what's the meaning? I've been dreaming. How the fuck was you that deceitful? I didn't see it. Hard for me to paint the picture, you'll just have to meet him. Gave my all to you, wanted to get more to you. Should've been honest with yourself, nobody was forcing you. I ain't even mad at you, Chuck, I'm just mad at me. Should've known better, mommy taught me better strategy. Still it burns, guess it's a blessing and a curse. Life goes on, it's another lesson learned. Mind switched on, you can hear it in the verse, right? But you will never know how much it really hurts. Images so vivid, so clear, oh my dear. You have no idea who I know here. Think fast, be on your A game. Silly for me to think we was on the same page. You really don't know anybody these days. She stays for his sake, a sweet face. Mind spinning, the clock ticking, my soul missing. Did well to convince me that you're so different. Give someone an inch and they will take a mile. It might take a while. Now I see you've approached this in the fakest style. This must be the apocalypse, feels like the world's ending. Who am I? I'm a mess, more sinning, more spending. More down days trying to make it through the 7th. Can't believe I almost got rid of my independence. Type of fuckery will have you look at yourself and start second guessing. Now I'm on crud like shit will get messy if you ever get to testing. But really I'm a sensitive soul and I'll stress it. What happens when someone takes advantage of that? Lost part of myself and I can't get her back.
All night long I've been waiting for you to run back home. Oh, all night long I've been investigating if you went and found new love.
How the fuck you get twang? Seems you're smarter than that, but you don't see it when you're in it. That's the hardest of facts. I can't relax, my heart racing. Remember when I heard the news, I just couldn't face it. If we ever talk again, it's on a last name basis. I know where to place you. I'm just trying to understand it. I don't wanna hate you. Guess you had to do what you had to do, but just know nobody rates you. Key word in all of this is you. I wonder what I did for me. I hardly remember me. What a waste of chemistry, energy and empathy. Wonder when you plan to let me know about her pregnancy. You have no integrity, emotion or respect for me. Clearly wasn't meant to be. This was temporary, this the clearest I've seen. It was bound to end eventually. Still it hurts tremendously, can't bear the intensity.
All night long I've been waiting for you to run back home.
About the situation, but now I'm saying my piece though. Not a loss forever, there's me acting like I didn't know. I can't do relationships but Instagram, posing like my life is perfect. Really it's the opposite. Lately I've been down a lot. I talk to no one about it, can't even write about it. Damn, that's writer's block. Hitting me like never before, still I recall. Been in the raw smoking just to take my mind all off everything that I should have been mindful of. Everything that I've enjoyed in life I'm a survivor of. Making sure to understand the small print before I sign it off. You was meant to be in my Grammy speech, your entire loss. I'll just keep it real, truth won't be concealed. Please don't listen to this and ask me if I'm hurting or if I'm okay. Allow me to be human and be in my feels. Chill, I'm good, I got it. I never lost it. Or am I just lying to myself to skip the topic?